New and mind-bending inventions are the key to the advancement of civilization. Starting with the primitive stone tools, we can now send spaceships to Mars and one day eventually settle a colony there. But what about inventors that died due to their own inventions? Let's take a look at some interesting cases, from inventors who made flying machines to personal submarines. Franz was an Austrian-born tailor who had the goal of trying to fly using his own tailored inventions. Born in 1879, he and many others at the time had their own versions of flying suits. He became fixated on developing a suit for aviators that would convert into a parachute if they eject from a plane. To test his experiment, he first used multiple dummies which he dropped from the 5th floor of his apartment. Unfortunately, none of them were successful. Instead of changing the design, however, he assumed the fault was because there was a lack of height between his 5th floor apartment and the ground. He asked the police to give him permission to conduct his test from the Eiffel Tower. In early 1912, he was finally granted permission. Initially, everyone assumed that he would throw more dummies off the top of the Eiffel Tower, but when he arrived, it was clear that he would be the one to jump. Multiple news reporters were on scene as he got to the top of the tower. Wearing his own tailored design, he jumped. However, the parachute didn't deploy. He was pronounced dead at the scene and his body was carried off. Aurel was a Romanian engineer who also designed airplanes and invented different types of gliders. In 1909, he built a glider together with his son and he tested it out. It was a successful glider, though he lacked the financial support to build a powered airplane. In the same year, with the success of his glider reaching officials in Romania, he got support to build a powered airplane. In 1910, he flew his airplane over an airfield and showed its capabilities. In 1912, he was given a pilot license and he demonstrated more flights throughout Transylvania. In 1913, he took up the challenge to be the first to fly across the Carpathian mountains. Unfortunately, the plane crashed and he did not survive the accident. The cause of the crash remains a mystery to this date, though it's theorized that the plane stalled during its landing. As a prominent inventor, engineer and aviator, June 17th is dedicated as the National Aviation Day in honor of his first powered flight in Romania. Born in 1823, Horace was a marine engineer during the American Civil War. He developed an early version of a hand-powered submarine. In fact, he built 3 such submarines, and the first was able to reach speeds of 4 knots, quite impressive for a hand-powered machine. In one incident, a crew was testing the submarine when they left the hatch doors open. As another ship went by, the water submerged the submarine and only 4 of the 9 crew members were able to escape. On October 15, 1863, Horace decided to take command of his submarine even though he was not part of the crew. Again, the vessel sank, but this time there were no survivors. The submarine was salvaged and used again in 1864. This time, it sank an enemy vessel, making it the first submarine to sink another ship in naval history. Unfortunately, the submarine sank a little later, not being able to come into port. Horace was buried with full military honors in Charleston on November 8, 1863. Alexander was a Russian physician and a revolutionary. He was very interested in eternal youth and rejuvenation. To study these subjects in depth, he started experiments with blood transfusions as he believed this would yield the best results. His sister was one of the many who volunteered to take part in his experiments. After going through 11 blood transfusions, he stated that his eyesight improved, his balding stopped, and listed multiple other positive symptoms. His friend, Leonid, wrote to his wife that Alexander seems to look 7 to 10 years younger after the experiments. He even founded an institute for hematology and blood transfusions. Unfortunately, when he took the blood of a student suffering from malaria, he died, though the student who was injected with Alexander's blood made a complete recovery. Scholars believe he died not due to the illness of the student, but rather a mismatch of blood types, which was poorly understood at the time. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you subscribe for more interesting content.